In my opinion, as a dude, though, I think this is probably one of the dumbest decisions of all time. I understand the Constitution. I understand the 9th and 10th Amendments. However, giving power back to the states for something like this is purely going to be political at this point versus who is going to run these states, what they're going to run on, and who their base actually is. On the conservative side, there is a large base that is religious. It's a big Christian base over there. I don't know that people necessarily believe in it all that much, but the people do, and that's how you get the votes to get in there. We'll start with Brittany real quick here. What were your thoughts this morning?
Dan's spicy about it already. So I just, it's my vagina. I should get to decide if I want to abort the little shit, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously. I think there's more implications, and obviously it's not just, taking away our right to get an abortion. It's just there's so many other things that come along with that. And never in the history of man, without being totally forced to, have people, chosen to just take care of this issue. So you're saying like it goes back to the states. Yeah. And then they're just going to fucking,
overturn it. I mean, I think it's automatically triggered in, 26 states today? 27 states, yeah. So that's what I mean by giving the power back to the states. If it's already set in stone in 26 states, then you're fucked. There is no real power with the states.
Mm-hmm. Sure there is.
How?
So things that are passed in the state legislature go to the state Supreme Court. That's it. This is how this is supposed to work. All of this is supposed to work this way. Roe v. Wade was bullshit when it was decided in the first place. Casey was even bigger bullshit when it was decided. We can get into all that as well, but this is how this is all meant to happen. This is how our Constitution was written. The end.
Right, but there has been amendments to the Constitution over time.
That's right, and there were amendments that either delimited the government or provided specific rights to things like self-defense, but at no point in the Constitution or its history has like personal medical decisions been a constitutional right or anything like that. It's just not. It's apples and oranges. It's not the same thing.
But when the Constitution was written, how long ago? 250 years ago?
244, maybe. What year is this?
22. 22?
Yeah, 22.
Well, I guess the Constitution was written in a couple years after.
But they didn't even have abortions back then. So how can you see into the future and predict what that is and why?
Well, abortion has been around for thousands of years.
But in this country?
Well, this country is only that
old. They were aborting.
Yeah.
They were aborting.
Yeah. They were dying a lot and it wasn't really working that well, but they were doing it.
There's throughout history, there's been various things from like shitty, like actual medical procedures to like teas and all kinds of like proto-chemical shit, whatever, all that kind of stuff.
There was, so you're saying the idea that it was, it felt like it was something that was in place that we could kind of count on. And now it seems it's true that it's now more in flux. It's going to be harder in certain places, completely illegal other places. And that idea that we were able to, have an abortion without having to tell people, without having to travel, without having to do all of that is probably going to be gone in a lot of places. That's true, correct?
It depends on where you live, but in some places that might be true, yeah.
In a lot, and I think there's actually states, you can probably, the amount of states that
will
probably
pull
happen.
graphic-ish, but I mean, it's already outlawed in Missouri. I saw it. I mean, it's going to be outlawed here, I would assume.
And you don't see that as a problem?
Sure, it's a problem, but amending the Constitution or having the court decide is not the solution to that problem.
So you're saying Roe v. Wade, the precedent that was sent, that was a problem?
Yes.
Up until now, because why?
It's a problem when the court becomes activist, when they start ruling on things that they have no business ruling on. And the reason that this is allowed to happen in the first place is because it isn't because the left has some heartfelt love for women, because that's clearly not true. It's not because people in this country respect women, also clearly not true.
By the way, that's exactly what I'm saying. So
Yes.
if you leave it up to people, they will not do it.
The reason that people that have relied on the court historically over the last 40 years or so and demanded that persist is because these politicians don't want to take up the responsibility themselves to get something done on this issue. That's why. It's because they don't want to send this issue to battleground states where fucking politicians have to vote one way or the other and lose half of their constituency.
I don't want that to happen either.
But that's exactly
Well, that's
what's
the way.
gonna happen.
This is the country we fucking live in. If you don't like the rules, then I'm sorry, but these are the rules.
So you're the only one that gets to complain about the way things are.
No, everybody can complain about it, but the second
So
half.
I can say, even if you say the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
I can still say that this exact issue has affected me and a lot of other people, and this not if I wasn't able to do this, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. So I can still say that
You can
without
say-
it being right,
Without it being what?
without it just being like, well, Constitution. Because I do feel like you guys have conversations.
I didn't just
about-
say, well, Constitution, though. I said, well, Constitution, plus here's the actual way that this problem needs to be handled in our current system of government.
right, which has worked so well.
It hasn't, and the government is broken, and that's what I have the biggest issue with. Is you send it back to the states, government's broken already. Look,
Everybody loved states' rights when it came to things like privacy and guns and everything else, but now when it goes back because of an issue you disagree with, this is the problem. Everybody's calling for the dissolution of the court now because they don't agree with the decision. Like this is nonsense.
But
I
this
actually
isn't just
don't-
abortion either. It's IVF and everything.
yeah,
yeah.
that's what they're coming after next.
Yeah.
And that was in the decision today from specifically Clarence Thomas. They're looking at gay marriage, they're looking at contraception, they're looking at all of it now, and that's a fucking problem as well.
Well, he's completely wrong about that, and that won't go with the court. Like that's a decision. So first of all, he is the ranking member of the majority party, which means he is the person that chose Samuel Alito to write the majority opinion, not himself, which he could have done.
Right.
Right. That is a minority opinion on the court. That the what is it? Fucking
Oberfell.
Iberfell or Oberfell. yeah.
Oberfell, something like
yeah.
that. It's a weird German name.
Yeah, Oberfell decision. That is a protected class, right?
Yeah.
That's a protected class. It has nothing to do with this abortion issue at
Right.
all. But anyways, that's
Yeah.
not what we're talking about. It does extend beyond to IVF and birth control, though.
Yeah, because I read the Missouri bill or something where he said if this was overturned that they were going after IVF and everything,
yeah,
which is that's fucked up.
it's fucked.
Yeah, because what if you want to have a kid but you can't? Now you can't at
Yeah.
all. You can't even do that.
So, Dan, you want to leave it up to the states. My question is, so like in Missouri, you can't do this here, of course. You can't do it in New York either, but that doesn't matter because New York's fine. But like in Missouri, for example, you can put a state amendment on the ballot through petition.
Correct. Yeah, California is the same way.
Right.
And it's not very difficult to get some. It's like it typically costs a campaign about $3 million to get something on the ballot, which
Right.
is not that much money politically speaking.
Would that be the way to go about legalizing abortion on a state level?
Yeah, I would say that's a good route. I mean,
Because that also cuts out the ledge.
this is a really difficult conversation to have because it affects so many people, right? And because nobody likes to be told what to do. I got it, but this is the way our system of government works. Like if you're coming with a solution to this problem, it is to give more power to the federal government or to give more power to the court. You have to imagine that same power in the hands of people that you hate and what decisions they might make in that circumstance. The whole purpose of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is to limit the power of government and to make sure everybody knows exactly what we're entitled to. That's the point of it.
How long has Roe been? 50 years?
50 years,
yeah.
yeah, right around 50.
What does that have to do with anything?
Just that has been...
Like the Jim Crow
Has it
laws
been a
existed for a long time as well. That doesn't make them right.
It doesn't make this right either, because now it's going back to the states, and the states are going to vote on this. Let's face it; it's going to get nuked in 26 already. Then you're going to have to go to petition.
I don't know. Show me the graphic here because I'm not aware of a bunch of states that are trying to make it completely illegal.
Missouri just did.
Right now?
This morning. Yeah, as soon as it was announced. I mean, they had it good to go.
Yeah, so they all have it in. There's this many that have it in place. So
Texas wasn't as quick, but I have to assume that Ken Paxton and et al. Will probably limit it severely. I don't know about Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, shit like that. The case is from Mississippi, so
Missouri's
they've
always been
got
hard to get one.
26 on here.
I'm not sure what gestational limit means. Florida,
Gestational limit means 15 weeks.
right? So Florida just passed a 15-week bill, which it should be noted.
That is the most popular
fine.
decision
yeah,
Yeah,
in the country.
15 weeks is what is more than most of Western Europe
yeah.
and
It's
Northern
when it's like 6 weeks.
right.
Most girls don't even know at that point.
No, and
No,
then you can't
you
get
can
the
go to
appointment,
Freebirds
and
tonight.
you can't.
I feel like you're pregnant.
You can't get the appointment and get in time. That's the other thing.
I know
as
that's
well.
how Kansas was also, because that was the closest to Kansas City was where girls would get their abortions in Kansas at Planned Parenthood. And I think it was, you couldn't even get in there until
Right.
you were 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has to be the date of you going in, not like making the appointment.
And oftentimes you don't know. Look, both of you guys are obviously mothers. With your child, for example, how many weeks did you know personally?
I didn't know until I was probably 9 or 10 weeks along
Okay.
that I was even pregnant.
Yeah, I think
Which
the
I was young,
most
but-
was maybe 8, like 15 weeks. 15 weeks. You know
Yeah.
you're pregnant.
You're definitely
You've
pregnant.
known for a while, and you've had time. 6 to 8 weeks. That's when it gets like that's basically illegal making it illegal.
Yeah. Yeah, 6 weeks is not that long, especially girls that don't even have regular periods and they're irregular. They don't even know. They're like, oh, it's just, I'm fine.
Yeah.
This is normal. And then
Yeah.
you've already passed that limit.
So what they're saying is 18 states have already immediately outlawed abortion, including some of them are Democrat states. I'm surprised. Michigan, Wisconsin is in there. You're up to 18 states who have already banned it, and that's going to continue even more. One of the biggest issues with this, I'll read them off real quick. Arkansas, Idaho, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Wyoming. 5 other states have also now banned terminations. Michigan and Wisconsin. 8 other states are set for new laws. Georgia, Iowa, South Carolina, Alabama, Arizona, and West Virginia. That's fast. That's very fast that this happens. Look, the most affected here are probably going to be poor areas and people who can't afford it. What are they supposed
And
to do?
younger people. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like you can't, if you need to go to another state, you're gonna have to
Find a ride.
tell somebody.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, because look, again, the biggest issue, I understand the Constitution, but states are also broken. And most of these parties, most of these Supreme Courts are slanted to whoever you're voting for in those districts. I mean, we always say defund politicians, and all politicians are cunts on this show all the time. I don't trust them either is the problem. I don't trust the federal government that much, and I don't trust our state governments that much to make great decisions. And I think we're fucked. This is one of those issues where, you and I talked about this morning. Why release this early in the morning like this unless you didn't want to riot,
Yeah, they want the riots for sure.
Yeah.
And they're going to happen. They'll start probably later on this afternoon and carry over through the weekend, I would guess.